Now, it's your forecast first from Storm Team 9.
Another gorgeous day of weather outside today. I hope you really had a chance to get outside and soak up some of the sunshine. If you haven't, you still got a couple of more nice days to enjoy. Right now, we're at 79 degrees in Greenville, 77 in Washington, 73 over in Englehart. No rainfall for us showing up tonight. We're under mostly clear skies, but similar to last night, some patchy fog is definitely a possibility, but all the active weather is to be found out west with new severe weather watches going into effect across the state of Texas at this hour. They will not be bothering us. We have quiet weather conditions through midweek, but for the weekend, a cold front will move in. That could bring us a chance of rain and much colder temperatures. We'll talk about the changes coming up. The longest running newscast in the East starts now.
On your side, this is WNCT 9 News at 6.
And we begin your news at 6, continuing to follow New Bern High School's forfeit of the 2022 State Football Championship. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken Watlington.
And I'm Angie Casada. Thank you so much for joining us. We have team coverage following this story for you tonight. 9 on your side's Aaron Jenkins and Claire Curry will join us in just a minute for a look at reaction across New Bern. But first, let's take a look at how we got to this point.
Back in December, the New Bern Bears took down Greensboro Grimsley 40-28 for the program's fourth 4A state football title. They would also secure a perfect 16-0 record. Fast forward to June, head coach of the Bears, Torrey Nowell, announced he was leaving the program to take a job at Jordan High School in Durham. Days before that, Principal Jerry Simmons was suspended along with a guidance counselor. Simmons eventually retired, and former J.H. Rose principal Dr. Darrell Thomas is now in that position.
And throughout the city of New Bern, people are talking about the forfeited contest and state championship. Even the mayor weighing in on his thoughts.
Now to your sides, Claire Curry joins us live just outside New Bern High School. Claire, what did the mayor have to say?
Ken, Mayor Jeffrey Odom says he's just surprised and disappointed with this outcome and questions how it got to this point. Although he doesn't want to encourage pointing fingers at anyone, he would like to see somebody stand up and take accountability. He adds that he hates to see the students of New Bern High School taking this hit. As he's heard over the last several months following their championship win, that for many, football was their only outlet.
You know, my concern is, what does something like this do to those kids who are really in need of support when the community and those that are supposed to be there to support them have apparently turned their back on them? And that's what's really disappointing through this whole process.
Odom encourages these young men to keep their heads held high going into the rest of their season, even if they are on probation, and to know in their hearts that the memories and dedication they put in to reach their goals can never be taken away. Along with Odom, residents of New Bern are also upset with this lack of accountability, even creating a petition requesting the resignation of the Craven County Schools superintendent. That petition will be posted on our website at WNCT.com. Live in New Bern, Claire Curry, 9 on your side.
All right, Claire, thank you. Tonight we are hearing from the superintendent of Craven County Schools and from community members who are asking for the school system's transparency on this. Now your side's Aaron Jenkins live now from the Board of Education building. Aaron, what did you learn?
Well, Ken, we're really learning more about who initiated this investigation as well as what prompted it. Craven County School Superintendent Wendy Miller says they did self-report themselves to the NCHS for grades and absences, and that's why they had to look into it to forfeit last season.
It was just kind of like a stab in the chest, I guess.
That's how many people in New Bern felt after hearing the news from Craven County Schools. A perfect championship season now gone.
It's disappointing and upsetting, not only for the parents and the fans and the community in our small town, but for the kids, because they feel defeated and they don't understand because they were told they were good.
Many people are wondering where this decision came from. Some fans even calling Q Tucker, the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.
I said, I was just curious, you know, did you send a letter to Craven County to tell them you were investigating the reports or whatever? And she said Craven County Schools reached out to her due to ineligible players.
Craven County School Superintendent Wendy Miller says they did self-report.
We initially reported last semester and had an ongoing investigation, and then reported the outcome of the investigation to them a couple of weeks ago, I believe, and then they had to take it to their board. We certainly never wanted this to happen. But we do believe integrity is important, and our students are watching.
We reached out to the NCHSAA, who says, quote, it is policy to not comment on investigations either in progress or after a decision is made. But moving forward,
we believe that Craven County and New Bern High School have done their due diligence. They're on the right path to move beyond this. And so they have said, here are the things that we're going to do.
As for many fans, regardless of what the state says, the 2022 team will always be a special one in the history of New Bern football.
They're still 16-0, the perfect season, and nobody will take that away. They won't take those memories, those photos, that hardware, or those rings away.
As for what's next this season, even though New Bern is on probation, the Bears will still be playing football. The NCHSAA will just be taking a closer look at them. And as for Craven County Schools, Superintendent Miller tells me they're going to be looking into hiring a county-wide athletic director to make sure something like this never happens again. Live in New Bern, Erin Jenkins, 9 on your side.
All right, Erin, thank you. And we want to hear from you tonight. In our Vote Now on 9 poll, we're asking, do you agree with the decision to take away New Bern's 2022 state football championship? To vote, just scan that QR code there at the bottom right side of your screen. You can also use the free 9 on your side mobile app and find Vote Now on 9 in the menu, or just simply head over to WNCT.com/vote. You can see the latest results coming up tonight on your late news here on WNCT. The NCHSAA is also talking about the law passed in the General Assembly that would make changes to how they govern over high school athletics in the state. The governor is allowing it to become law without his signature, as it is included with some changes to auto insurance. During a press conference today, Commissioner Q. Tucker says the association is doing what they can to make sure the student athletes across the state come first.
This legislation handcuffs the NCHSAA. It handcuffs the means through which the association can raise funds. It prevents the NCHSAA from giving grants and scholarships back to students in schools unless they are donor directed. We are committed to continuing to operate under the standards of excellence.
Now, this new law takes the power from the NCHSAA to make decisions and gives it to the state superintendent.
Turning now to your evening crime tracker, officials say a Dare County deputy shot and killed a man who allegedly came at him with a knife. It happened last night when the Dare County Sheriff's Office was called for a person trespassing on Burnside Road in Manio. That person was Demetrius Selby. Family and friends say while he had mental health challenges, people still loved him.
The children loved him. The children absolutely loved him. He spoiled them and he praised them, and they just loved him. He poured his spirit into them.
The SBI is now investigating the case.
We are learning more about the state budget and what it means for you here in North Carolina. It goes into effect today. Let's take a deeper look at some of what's in it. The state's income taxes is being cut. It'll drop little by little each year from the current 4.7% to 3.99% in 2026. After that, the tax rate would go down all the way to 2.49% if the state takes in enough money to trigger further cuts.
We wanted to see continued tax relief as well, but we wanted to make sure there were protections in case you ran into a situation where you had a potential shortfall.
There's so many things that are going unmet right now, and to think in the future that we have in this budget committed to making more tax cuts available to the wealthy and ignoring those needs is astounding.
As for pay raises for teachers and state workers, those will be retroactive to July 1st.
And on the national stage, Congressman Don Davis from here in the East is in Washington, D.C., working with the House to get a full budget passed. Over the weekend, they passed a short-term funding bill. That funding will keep the government open until mid-November. Representative Davis says he voted in favor of the measure to help everyone here in eastern North Carolina.
That would allow children, women, military families, seniors, to continue to receive critical services. It is important for us to give ourselves some breathing room over the course of these next 45 days, so that we can get back to the work of the American people.
Representative Davis says he'd like to see money in the budget going toward things like health care, education, military benefits, and farming. In a historic move, Congress votes to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. It happened late this afternoon. Republican Representative from Florida, Matt Gaetz, filed the resolution to remove him last night. The filing in response to the Speaker turning to Democrats to help pass that short-term spending deal. The chamber voting this afternoon 216 to 210 to oust McCarthy.
We need a Speaker who will fight for something, anything, besides just staying or becoming Speaker.
If you throw a Speaker out that has 99% of their conference, that kept government open and paid the troops, I think we're in a really bad place.
McCarthy is now the first Speaker of the House in U.S. history to be removed by a motion to vacate. The House now has to elect a new Speaker before moving forward with other issues like a long-term spending bill. North Carolina Representative Patrick Mahindry is now serving as Speaker pro tem.
Hunter Biden is pleading not guilty to federal firearms charges in a Delaware courtroom today. Hunter Biden is accused of making a false statement in 2018 about his drug use on a federal form when purchasing a gun. Another count alleges he knowingly possessed a firearm while on drugs. His legal team argues the charges are excessive and not supported by facts.
He flew out there, he said not guilty, and this, of course, is a result of something that absolutely did not go according to plan, which is the disintegration of the plea agreement.
The ongoing investigation includes tax and other potential violations, although no other charges have been filed yet. President Biden has declined to comment on the charges. And former President Donald Trump was also back in court today. This for that civil suit in New York accusing the Trump Organization of inflating prices on financial statements and falsifying business records. Prosecutors are seeking a ban on Trump doing business in New York and $250 million in penalties. And the coverage of all these stories continues next here on WNCT. From the battle on Capitol Hill to Hunter Biden in court, Nora O'Donnell and the team at CBS Evening News will bring you all the latest developments. You can catch it starting right after this newscast on the CBS Evening News at 6:30.
But there is still a lot to get to here at 6. Greenville is having their National Night Out right now. We'll take you there for a look at all the fun.
Also coming up next, your complete Storm Team 9 7-day forecast. We've had some beautiful weather so far this week. We'll see if we can keep the streak going into the weekend. Plus, we'll check in on Philippe in the tropics.